The Pats make it 3 in a row down in the Bayou, and Drake Maye again looks like the guy. Let's break it down. This is Locked On Patriots.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. 3 wins in a row from Mike Vrabel's Patriots as they beat the Saints just a little while ago, 25-19 down in New Orleans. And I got to ask you, what's happening? I'm your host, Nick Cattles, born and raised in New England, been covering the Pats for 16 years, also co-host of the Greg Bedard Patriots podcast with Nick Cattles and a sports talk show host, veteran, and we have a lot to get to. Reaction to this win down in New Orleans, and coming up on this live post game, a professional and mature win on the road for Mike Vrabel and company. Also, the offense was not the Stephon Diggs show, and we'll tell you why that was a good thing. But first, Drake Maye continues to cook. We appreciate you joining the show, making us your first listen, and for being an everydayer. The Locked On Patriots podcast, a proud partner, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget, as you watch us live, on demand, whatever, don't forget on the YouTube channel to click that thumbs up, give us a like. Don't forget to throw a comment in, your thoughts on this win, your thoughts on 3 wins in a row. The Patriots now, with 4 wins on the season, have tied their total from 23 and 24. Pretty crazy turnaround with Mike Vrabel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, getting closer to 7,000 subs. This live post game brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, Mazda sweats every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Drake freaking Maye. In the first half of this game, Drake Maye was pretty much flawless. You go back, you watch that first half. Do you have any, and I mean any, criticisms for Drake Maye? Decision-making, throws that he made, plays that he made. He was practically flawless in the first half. And really, he was close to flawless throughout this game, given the decisions he made and the plays that he made. He had the delay of game penalty in the red zone, which isn't great. But man, your quarterback once again looks like one of the best quarterbacks in football. And following that win in Buffalo, in what Maye did in the second half against the Buffalo Bills, you know, you're wondering, how's he going to respond on the road, second straight game away from Gillette Stadium? Is he going to take anything for granted? Is he going to come out slow? And the answer to that was absolutely not. In that first half, he was incredible. 11 for 13, 185 yards, not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns. On the day, Drake Maye's passer rating was 140.1. And he extended plays like we have seen over and over and over again. You think he's dead. You think the offense is dead. Defense is feeling good. And then all of a sudden, he smokes you. Extending plays, keeping those plays alive, keeping his eyes downfield to remain a passer. The explosives that we saw in the first half. He was just absolutely phenomenal following that Bills game in the first half against the Saints. Just phenomenal. And I'm a broken record, but I love being a broken record when it comes to giving credit where credit is due and pumping the tires of the Patriots quarterback. We saw once again today more third down magic from Drake Maye. He's been doing it all season long. Even before this hottest of the hot streaks over the past few weeks that we've seen from him, Drake Maye has been so good on third down, so good on fourth down. It's almost ludicrous to see how he has been efficient and how he continues to burn defenses on the biggest downs. 3rd and 11, fourth quarter, have to have it. Have to have it type play. And Drake Maye throws a back shoulder beauty to Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon Boutte, who we'll get to a little bit later, fantastic day from him. But again, 3rd and 11, when you absolutely have to have it, your quarterback steps back in the pocket and drills a back shoulder throw to Kayshon Boutte, 15-plus yards downfield. And we can sit here and we can look at what Drake Maye did in this game, and we can talk about the statistics because the statistics look great. The analytics look even better. But frankly, Drake Maye got hosed. Drake Maye got hosed by this officiating crew multiple times. The fact is, Drake Maye's numbers should have been better than what they ended up being. Drake Maye finds Stefon Diggs down the field, 3rd and forever. A perfect bucket throw down the sideline. Diggs with a great catch. Hosed. Very next play. Drake Maye has pressure on him. Takes a hit. Stays in the pocket. Throws almost a perfect ball to Mac Hollins. If it's not for a defensive pass interference call that doesn't get called, who knows? Who knows if Mac Hollins comes down with that football? He probably does because it was another perfect throw from Drake Maye. So he could have been even better today if it wasn't for the officiating crew, which we will get to later on. I'm going to absolutely roast those guys. But you had 2 bucket throws that didn't count. You had the touchdown to Pop Douglas, the second touchdown to Pop Douglas in the first half, that didn't count. Drake Maye was absolutely stellar in this game once again. And it feels good to repeat yourself when you're saying that exact thing, that your quarterback was once again tremendous. 0 turnovers, no fumbles, no picks. He continues to take care of the football. And before this season kicked off, we kept talking about Drake Maye, and the most pivotal number for him was turnover-worthy play rate. And he needed to keep that number down. Could he keep the turnovers down? Could he have crisper decision-making? And the answer is yes and yes. Another game where Drake Maye has a clean sheet. No turnovers, nothing really close to a turnover. He made 1 dangerous throw today, but it wasn't too crazy. I didn't think the Travion Henderson flip into the flat was that much of a gamble because nobody was really near Travion Henderson. And if you feel like you can cleanly get that ball to the running back, then you make that play. We've seen Josh Allen and other guys make that play all the time. So once again, he's taking care of the football. Once again, he is smoking defenses on 3rd and 4th down. And what we continue to see from Drake Maye are these splash plays. The splash plays that will be on SportsCenter later on Sunday night. And you see those splash plays, but you also see those splash plays while Drake Maye continues to take care of the football. And that is the panacea of play, baby. If you have Drake Maye extending plays, making some of these ridiculous throws, making these, oh my God, I can't believe he just did that type plays while taking care of the football, that is the magic recipe. That's the secret sauce. If you have both of those things working at the same time, where your quarterback is doing something special while he's not turning the ball over on a consistent basis, that's the panacea. And mature leadership. Once again, we see Drake Maye being a mature leader. How did he respond after the blown offensive pass interference call? The first one on Stefon Diggs. There were 2 today on Stefon Diggs. But how did Drake Maye respond after that penalty that could have been crippling for the offense? You literally just took 6 points off the board. How did he respond? How did the offense respond? They responded with a touchdown. That's how they followed it up. You want to call that terrible OPI call on Stefon Diggs? That's fine. We're going to come right back and we're going to punch you in the face. We're going to drive downfield and we're going to score a touchdown. So you can take that touchdown away from us because we're just going to put it on the board anyway. That's the resiliency and the mature leadership from your quarterback and from that offense. And I remind people, Drake Maye continues to play at this incredibly high level in a one-dimensional offense because, again, your run game stunk out loud today. He continues to be great when everything, literally everything, is on him. The Patriots can't run the ball. They go into Sundays asking Drake Maye to be almost perfect. And since that Pittsburgh Steelers game, he's been pretty much almost perfect. A one-dimensional offense with a young quarterback who just finished his first full year, quote unquote, technically as a starting quarterback, finishing the 17th game. He's carrying this offense. And shout out to Ramondre Stevenson, by the way, because the run game wasn't good. But Ramondre Stevenson came up with a couple of huge blitz pickups in this game, which allowed Drake Maye some extra time to make some plays. But what can you say about Drake Maye? Honestly, what can you say about this young man? He is straight up balling. He is cooking. And it's on him. It's on him. Tremendous stuff. We have so much to get to. You know, before today, many thought this was a Drake Maye, Stephon Diggs offense or bust. Well, those people today happen to be wrong. We'll get to that next. This is Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You know the saying, look good, feel good? The problem is that most dress clothes only check one of those boxes. They look sharp but feel stiff, hot, and high maintenance. That's why there is Mizzen & Main. Mizzen & Main makes classic menswear with performance fabrics, so it's effortless to look sharp and feel comfortable. They actually invented the performance fabric dress shirt over 10 years ago, and they've perfected it ever since. Their shirts are stretchy, moisture-wicking, wrinkle-resistant, and machine-washable. No ironing, no dry cleaning. You'll love that you can go from the office to dinner or even out on the golf course and still feel comfortable all day. Right now, Mizzen & Main is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mizzenandmain.com with promo code LOCKEDONNFL20. That's Mizzen, spelled M-I-Z-Z-N, and Main, M-A-I-N.com. Promo code LOCKEDONNFL20 for 20% off. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find Mizzen & Main stores in select states. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's Moving the Game Forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward is, well, we could go with Drake Maye, but that's too easy. So how about Kayshon Boutte? Kayshon Boutte finished with 5 catches, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including a game-clinching 3rd and 11 conversion on a back shoulder throw from Drake Maye. Whether it was third down heroics or plays that put points on the board, Boutte kept the team's offense moving down the field to help come away from New Orleans with a W. Meanwhile, Pop Douglas also got involved in the passing game after a quiet start to the season and gave his team an early lead with his 53-yard touchdown on a perfect route. Boutte and Pop absolutely helped the team move forward, their 3rd straight win. When you follow up moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. You know, after the Buffalo game, you wondered, right? With this offense, this passing offense, you're not running the football effectively. It was really Stephon Diggs or bust against the Buffalo Bills for the most part last weekend. And you wondered, you know, what would this passing game look like if teams started to devote extra attention to Stephon Diggs, or he just had a quiet day? Would they be able to put together enough offense? Would they be able to put together enough passing game to make a defense pay? And the answer, at least for today, down in New Orleans, was unequivocally a yes. Stephon Diggs had 3 catches for 28 yards. Now, he had a big conversion catch, which has been the case with him all year long. He would have had better statistics if he wasn't called for that ridiculous second offensive pass interference call downfield when he made a tremendous catch, put his hand on the shoulder of the defender, really didn't do anything, didn't impact the defender, is what it is. Patriots won, so we can get through it. If the Patriots lost this game, I would have lost my ever-loving mind on this live postgame, and I would have been going crazy, moving furniture all over this room. I would have lost my mind like many of you would have lost your mind. But they won the game. They won the game. Stephon Diggs, his stats were impacted by the officiating. Drake Maye's stats were impacted by the officiating. But Diggs finishes with 3 catches, 28 yards. So not much going on for Stephon Diggs. But that didn't matter. Because Demario Douglas, and let's talk about Demario Douglas for a minute. Pop Douglas has not been a big part of this offense, but he has continued to play hard when given the opportunity. We've talked about his blocking downfield, how he blocked 2 guys on a Hunter Henry touchdown against Carolina. He's had plays over the past few weeks where he's blocking people downfield. He's not giving up. And sometimes you see that from wide receivers. When they're not getting the football, they complain, they moan, they whine, and they don't give their all. A lot of credit to Pop Douglas, who has remained a professional, has continued to play hard, even though he hasn't been getting a ton of snaps. He hasn't been getting a ton of targets. And it paid off. It paid off down in New Orleans. 3 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And yes, again, he got hosed on the second touchdown. He should have had much better numbers. He should have had 4 catches for well over 102 touchdowns in this game. But shout out to Pop Douglas for remaining a professional, keeping his head on the right way, remaining focused to the task at hand, and helping this team win a game. And he's done it in other ways without catching the football. And against the Saints, he helped by catching the football. Tremendous stuff from Pop Douglas in that first half. The first touchdown catch for him was just an excellent route downfield. And then you get to Kayshon Boutte. A return home for Kayshon Boutte. He said in the postgame today that he had upwards of 40 people in the crowd watching him. And he bought all those tickets. And Kayshon Boutte goes out there and does what he did. He had the big first week, and then it's been mostly the Stephon Diggs show and the Drake Maye show, as I mentioned a few moments ago. But Kayshon Boutte, he's made some big catches. He made a big catch against Buffalo last weekend on third down. When he catches it, he spins around, he reaches out for the first down marker, converts, and they move the chains. Kayshon Boutte has made some plays. It's not like he's been non-existent. He hasn't been putting up huge production numbers, but he's come up with some big plays. And today, you had both. Today, you had Kayshon Boutte putting up big production numbers, and you had Kayshon Boutte coming up with big play after big play. 5 catches, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns. All 5 of Kayshon Boutte's catches today were for either touchdowns or first downs. You want to talk about having an impact? That goes beyond the box score. When you look at 5 for 93 and 2 touchdowns, that's nice. But then you look at the impact of those 5 catches. Every single solitary catch from Kayshon Boutte today was impactful. Every single one was a big play. All 5 catches, either a touchdown or a first down. And Drake Maye showing his development, Drake Maye showing his trust with his guys. Stephon Diggs, again, wasn't the man today, but it was fine. What did Drake do? Drake Maye found his other receivers, and we talked about this last week. I mentioned specifically, if Stephon Diggs gets all this attention, or Stephon Diggs is the guy that defenses are trying to eliminate, that's going to create opportunities for the other wide receivers in that room. And today you saw Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte respond with big games. And Drake Maye responds by finding the open man, by not trying to force the issue to Stephon Diggs. Drake Maye could have forced throw after throw to Stephon Diggs, but he didn't. And that's professional maturity. That is development from your quarterback. All these little things, man, that we talk about, they all matter for a quarterback's development. And Drake Maye just continues to check a bunch of boxes week after week. And today it was not forcing it to Stephon Diggs after he had 2 great games. A lot of quarterbacks would go in and try to force the issue to their guy. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Pop Douglas, big touchdown over the top. Should have had 2 big touchdowns over the top. Great job running after the catch. Kayshon Boutte, 2 touchdowns. Tremendous first touchdown from Boutte. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who can handle contested catches. Kayshon Boutte is a contested catch guy. He proved that multiple times today. That first touchdown was just play strength. That's play strength. That's strength of hands. And then you got the 3rd and 11 conversion, back shoulder throw to seal this game. Whoop, done. Hunter Henry had 3 catches. Mac Hollins had a couple of catches. And I thought, I'll have to rewatch the game, which I always do on Monday mornings. But in real time, I thought the offensive line was mostly really good in the first half in pass protection. Second half, a little bit leaky here and there. I thought Mike Vrabel had some bad snaps. Again, this is just watching live. I might feel differently after I watch it over again. But I thought Mike Vrabel had a couple of bad snaps today. Obviously, Garrett Bradbury literally had the bad snap on the 4th down. Morgan Moses had a false start. I thought he was beat once or twice. The run game continues to be a problem. But, you look at these statistics from the offense. The Patriots were 6 for 13 on 3rd down, better than 50% on 3rd down. The New Orleans Saints were 3 for 9 on 3rd down. The offense didn't turn the football over. The offense won the time of possession 31-44 to 28-16. And also the offense, they get the football back with under 4 minutes, right? Right about 4 minutes to go. And I tweeted at Nick C Radio, if you want to follow me, if the offense does its job, the Saints never see the ball again. That's precisely what happened. The offense did its job. 3rd and 11 conversion to Kayshon Boutte on the back shoulder. Saints never got the ball back. So, 3rd straight win, man. Down in New Orleans against the Saints, 25-19 victorious. If you listen to our our preview, or if you watched our preview, I had the Patriots winning 24-17. Pretty close to the final. But a win is a win. A win is a win. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got more to give you. Was it a perfect win? No. Was it an impressive win in its own way? Absolutely. I'll tell you why and more next as we continue with today's episode of Locked On Patriots, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. And their trade master perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process just smoother. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I played a couple of parlays this weekend. You can also try player props, even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. And again, right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Like, comment, and sub. Help a brother out as you watch and or listen to this live postgame. Patriots victorious in New Orleans, 25-19. 3rd win in a row. Last time I checked, they had 4 wins in 2023, 4 wins last season, and now have 4 wins by week 6 in 2025. We are in the middle of what feels like a pretty significant turnaround by this franchise in a young quarterback that continues to get better each and every week. In winning, I know the Saints aren't very good, and we talked about it on the preview. They have some talent. I did not think this was going to be an easy game by any stretch. It was going to be a fight, but winning on the road in the NFL is big, and it's not easy, no matter who you're playing against. It's big to win on the road. Was this a perfect game? Of course it wasn't a perfect game. A perfect win? Of course it wasn't a perfect win. But was it an impressive win? I would say yes. Because offensively, to start this game, you were shot out of a cannon. And you're wondering after the Buffalo Bills game last weekend, how would this team come out? How would they look? Now, defensively, slow start. Offensively, fast start. They were ready from the get-go. The quarterback was certainly ready from the get-go. They looked prepared. They looked sharp to start this game on the offensive side. And the biggest question that we had asked going back to late last week was, is this team going to be emotionally mature? Is this team going to respond on the road? Second straight week that you're on the road. Are they going to respond after the sexy win against Buffalo? Because many would look at this and say, oh, it's a trap game. This team, you got to watch out. You know, they're going to be flying high. Everybody's talking about them. Will they be able to emotionally handle that swing and get back on the road down in New Orleans? Pretty long flight, early 12 noon kickoff local time. Would they be able to settle in? Would they be able to respond on the road after that sexy win against Buffalo? And it was a yes. It was a yes. And I thought, you look at the officiating. Again, those guys stunk out loud. That's the worst officiating crew that I have seen this year. It's possibly the worst officiating crew that I've seen in the past several years. They were god-awful. They were embarrassing. They were absolutely embarrassing. The 2 offensive pass interference calls on Stephon Diggs were a joke. The defensive pass interference call was a joke. The lack of a defensive pass interference on Mac Hollins was laughable. You had those back-to-back plays where they called nothing on Stephon Diggs because he put his hand on the guy's shoulder. They call it OPI, which was horrible. And you would think that the refs would think to themselves, well, we screwed over Stephon Diggs and the Patriots offense in the first half by calling an invisible offensive pass interference call on Stephon Diggs. Maybe we shouldn't call a second one. I mean, the first one was crazy. The Patriots were literally celebrating Pop Douglas's second touchdown when the flag came out. Did the referee get a call from New Orleans? What is that about? Did he get a text? And so you've got the blown OPI calls. You've got the missed defensive pass interference that was clear. Again, right after you call the phantom OPI on Stephon Diggs, you miss a clear and obvious DPI against Mac Hollins. I mean, we're talking about some of the worst. The 2-point conversion attempt, and Drake Maye was clearly over the line, clearly broke the goal line, and in real time they say he was short. They have to review it. Guess what? He wasn't short. He got into the end zone. They missed a fumble by Jawan Johnson. That had to get reviewed. They called Kayshon Boutte out of bounds on that 3rd and 11 conversion that sealed the game. They called him out of bounds. I have no idea how they said that he went out of bounds. It was clear he caught the football, came down with both feet, and he went down inbounds. They called him out of bounds. This officiating crew was as bad as it gets. That's as bad as it gets. The NFL should be embarrassed that they put that crew out there today. That's how bad it was. Some of the other stuff was ticky-tack too. I'm just talking about the obvious missed calls, the obvious bad calls. But the Patriots kept at it. The Patriots did not let the first awful offensive pass interference call impact them in any way. As I mentioned in the last segment, they responded, they come down, they score a touchdown. And they did not get a fair shake from the officiating crew all day long, but they kept at it, they kept fighting, and they won the game. On the road. Tough environment. New Orleans is loud. That dome is loud. And they kept fighting, and they found a way. That's why it's an impressive win. Mike Vrabel, excellent conversation. I'm still trying to figure out if he technically challenged on the Kayshon Boutte play, because at first the ref said that it was like reviewed expeditiously or whatever he said, and then it was, well, they get their challenge back, and then, well, they get their it was a little confusing, but Mike Vrabel, if he didn't challenge it, I think he challenged it. He at least had the conversation with the refs and forced their hand to take a look at it and try to figure out if they got it wrong. Shocker, they got it wrong. So Mike Vrabel on top of it, and because of that, because you caused a little bit of a stir, that allowed the Patriots to take a knee. Game was over. New Orleans was out of timeouts. So because you were allowed to run that final 33 seconds off the clock and get to the 2-minute warning, now you knee it 3 times and the game's over. So that's a great detail by your coaching staff. It allowed you to end that game on your terms. It wasn't clean. It wasn't a clean game. You had 11 penalties, and both can be true. The officiating crew was god-awful, and you also continue to be undisciplined, one of the most undisciplined, if not the most undisciplined team in the NFL. with the penalties, but you got through it. You got through the penalties. You got through a weird play call on 3rd and 7 from Josh McDaniels, and then a strange decision by Mike Vrabel to go for it on 4th and 7. I thought it was too cute on the 3rd down. 4th down snap, disaster. Your defense in the first half, you got off to a slow start. You were too aggressive, but you figured things out in the second half. You held the New Orleans Saints to less than 20 points on the road. You held them 3 for 9 on 3rd down. But this is the type of game where Mike Vrabel is going to have plenty of stuff to look at on the film. He's going to point it out and say, guys, we keep winning and we're not playing necessarily clean football. If we start playing cleaner football, we'll be even better than what we've been. But all in all, again, those are some nitpicks. The Patriots are 4-2. Mike Vrabel's going to keep them humble looking at that film, but the Patriots are 4-2. They have won 3 straight games. And if it wasn't for just giving that Pittsburgh game away, you'd be looking at 5-1 right now. And it's starting to get fun. It's starting to get really fun. You've won 3 straight. You got Tennessee and Tennessee next weekend. Of course, Mike Vrabel's going to be, I would imagine, super motivated to go into Tennessee and prove a point. But you're 4-2. You are squarely in the playoff hunt right now. You are in the playoff conversation a month and a half into this season. And that's fantastic. That feels good. And Drake Maye continues to just be awesome. All right, that wraps up this edition of Locked On Patriots. Thank you for making us your first listen, for being an everydayer as well. Reach out to me on Twitter at Nick C Radio. Don't forget to throw a comment in on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And for your second listen, go get a double dose of the Locked On NFL podcast with Tyler the Madman Rowland and Tony Wiggins. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Patriots victorious, 3 wins in a row, improved to 4-2 on the season, and we will see you next time.